Hello, hello, hello. Good afternoon, everybody. I hope everybody is having or had a great morning. Um, it's been busy in my house, so it took me a few minutes extra to get here. So yeah, that's why I changed the stream time to 3:05 because yeah, it was just a situation going on. It's been a little chaotic here. So, anyways, so today is a big trigger stream for anybody. And I want to be very upfront about that right off. There is content warning scrolling across the bottom. This is about a beautiful baby boy that was left in a park under a statue back in 1997. Um, I found this website, DNASolves, after I had found the interrogation video, and then I went down a rabbit hole. And I've kind of decided that this website, which I will drop it here in the chat as everything. I think it is very interesting. It's called DNASolves, and on this website they have a whole list of DNA um, um, where the testing and the forensic genealogy has found matches for these unidentified people. And that's how they were able to, with genealogy and forensic testing, find the identity to this baby Moses. I wanted to go over this with you, and then we could watch the interrogation video. And then she does have a court sentencing that was last March, I believe. And there was a sentencing hearing. It is short. It's about 25 minutes long, and we will go over that. So today's stream will probably be less than 2 hours. So, but I wanted to go over this website real quick. Talks about the summary of the case. This was the headstone, as you've seen in my thumbnail. They did give him a proper burial and a headstone, and laid the infant to rest. And there we will watch a small part of a news clip from 97 when they did this. So it reads, September 7th, 1997, city workers found the body of a newborn wrapped in a charred cloth near the Moses statue in Albany, New York, Washington Park. The baby, later called Baby Moses by investigator, weighed 9 pounds, 3 ounces. It was determined Baby Moses had been born alive and healthy. There was no signs of injury or natural health conditions that could have caused this death. Despite extensive investigation efforts, no leads surfaced and the case went cold. In 2020, the Albany Police Department partnered with Cold Case Analysis Center at the College of St. Rose to take a fresh look at the case. As DNA technology had significantly advanced since 1997, forensic specialists had extracted a usable DNA profile from the preserved evidence. In 2022, Ortham was retained to develop a comprehensive DNA profile for the unknown infant. Once the profile was created, it was provided to the FBI's forensic genealogy team, which used it to conduct a forensic database. Search ultimately led to the identification of a relative, and after further investigative work, police determined that Miss Keri Mazzuca was the infant's biological mother. With this new lead, Albany police began conducting surveillance and collected discarded items from Mazzuca's residence to obtain confirmatory DNA samples. The result conclusively identified her as the child's mother. September 6, 2024, Mazzuca was arrested and charged with second-degree murder, tampering with physical evidence, and concealment of a human corpse. Following her arrest, authorities learned more about the events that took place 27 years earlier. Mazzuca admitted she suffocated her newborn son shortly after birth, and in an effort to destroy evidence, attempted to burn his body before leaving him in Washington Park. The crime shocked the Albany community, and those who had worked in the case over the years described it as one of the most haunting unsolved mysteries in the city's history. February 13, 2025, Mazzuca pled guilty to first-degree manslaughter and tampering with physical evidence. As a part of the plea, she admitted to killing her newborn son and concealing his body. She now faces up to 25 years in the state prison, with sentencing scheduled for April 18, 2025. Identification of baby Moses is the 11th publicly announced case in New York where investigators used technology developed by Ortham to identify an individual to learn more about their case. To learn more about the case, New York visit DNASolves. So it's very, very interesting. There is, and I hope what I would like to do, and this is just me talking out loud before we get to the actual watching the videos and stuff. There is so many, if you would look, a 1986 SA suspect identified in Michigan. After decades, Yapati County John Doe 2015 identified. 16 years Alameda County John Doe 2008 identified. 1992 identified. After 56 years, Will County Jane Doe 1968 is identified. There is so many interesting things I found through this, and I'm going to try to once a week just kind of backtrack to kind of this DNA stuff and see if I can find cases with this kind of stuff with updates that to shed some light on the unfortunate loss in whatever the incident may be. I think everybody sorry, I'm getting choked up. Let me play this. Let me play this trigger warning real quick, and then we will get into it. I think this is something that needs to be done to give voices to some of these that have lost their voice. So let me play my trigger warning. Okay. Dry those tears up before we even start. That's what I said, y'all bring Kleenex. This is amazing technology that they are able to use to bring this to the forefront in this day and time, and I'm totally here for it. So again, if anybody has to leave for any reason, I totally understand. Today will be a very hard stream. And thank you, Cindy, for that. I think the DNA testing is absolutely amazing. And I don't have a loud voice. Well, I have a mouthy voice, but I will respectfully try to look into some of these more and put this out there. So with this, we're going to go over here. This was a, I'm going to fast forward it up to here. We don't have to watch her talk. This is an news station from when the incident occurred.
Ian Jackson reports.
We commend the soul of baby Moses, and we commit his body to the ground.
None of the more than 100 people who attended today's funeral ever met little Moses Washington, but each felt a special caring for this child who was found dead and abandoned next to a flower bed in a city park. The mourners included city officials, police officers, members of the Parks Department, and dozens of local residents who came to let this unwanted child know that he indeed was loved.
Oh, I just love children, and I lost a baby once, and I just feel very bad for the mom.
Children are my whole life. I just can't believe that this poor little child is without a mother and a father here, a grandmother, a grandfather.
For Albany police, the death of Moses Washington still leaves more questions than answers. Although they say they followed a few leads, none have yet to provide any clues as to how the infant died or who left him in the park.
Dan Levy is reporting on that arrest tonight.
Okay, so that was what was showed on the news back in 1997, which we're lucky to be able to tap into those kind of streams. Those things are very hard to find, but it takes a lot of research. That one was something recent, so I thank them, whoever they may be. Let me drop their link in here too, just so you can always go rewatch without commentary for anybody that's on the replay crew. Okay, so back to this. So this is the body cam, not the body cam. This is the interrogation video. It's about 38 minutes long. I will stop and talk through it If you would like to watch it without my commentary, this is, let's see, interrogation video. Okay. That link is also dropped. So if anybody would like to go view that without my commentary. So, all right, with that, I have noisy dogs in the background. They're actually being kind of good right now. So I'm going to leave it unmuted so I can just casually talk. If they get too loud, I'll mute. So, all right, let's roll.
Behind this disturbing murder of a newborn, a cold case which remained buried for 27 years, lies only one person with the answers, 52-year-old Keri Mazzuca. But little do the detectives know that they are about to confront an extremely heartless woman, desperately holding on to the last remaining strands of her lies.
My baby.
I didn't baby.
Who did?
I don't know who did.
The doctor who did the autopsy says your version's full.
Beneath the calm denial of this mother of two lies a story soaked in cruelty, so disturbing that even seasoned detectives would be left speechless. The tragedy started on the morning of September 7th, 1997, when two city workers in Albany, New York, were performing routine maintenance in Washington Park. Near the base of the Moses statue, they discovered a blue
Back up just a second. I'm going to hit play again.
in Washington Park.
I want to show y'all the statue. That is I have seen this statue before. It is a very, very beautiful statue, the Moses statue. Again, I don't talk religion and politics in here, but I will tell you that visiting this statue really gave me chills. I visited it in 2002, I believe. So yeah, it's a very beautiful, peaceful place. So I do give props for that. It was a very peaceful place.
Base of the Moses statue, they discovered a blue pillowcase that appeared to be partially burned, but what they found inside would leave them stunned. It was the body of a lifeless baby boy, later named Moses. However, at the time, there were no leads or witnesses, and unfortunately, the identity of the parents remained unknown. However, nearly 23 years later, in 2020, the Albany Police Department, along with the Cold Case Analysis Center at the College of St. Rose, used modern forensic technology to reanalyze the evidence from the case. After 2 years of analysis, in 2022, the lab Othram Inc. successfully managed to create a full DNA profile from preserved evidence. That profile was submitted to the FBI's forensic genealogy team, which matched it to a relative of the baby. It was through that lead that investigators identified Keri S. Mazzuca, who had been living just 5 blocks from the original crime scene.
That's 5 blocks from the original crime scene. You will later learn that she jogged there with the baby. Jogged. Yes, she went for a jog with a deceased baby to this park after she had it. It's totally off the rails. Totally insanity. And she was only 25 at the time. So she was old enough to know better.
And what awaited was a shocking and roller coaster interrogation where a 27-year-old mystery finally began to crack open.
So the reason we need you to help us out here is we're looking into something that happened quite a few years ago. Okay. Back in 1997. So some remains were found in Washington Park. Okay. And, you know, it's been a long time since it happened. We've been kind of working on it here and there. And we've been deploying a new investigative technique, right? Do you watch like any of this stuff on the news, like genealogy stuff?
No.
Okay. So what we do is we kind of go to some third-party companies like Ancestry.com, stuff like that, and try and build family trees. Okay. So part of that is that the remains, the DNA testing on the remains that we found are connected to your family. Okay. Yeah. So it was younger, right? The remains, best we can tell. And we honestly don't know really what happened. It's just one of those things that they're trying to get us to figure out
Wow.
and use this new, it's crazy, right? So let me ask you this. Do you know of anyone in your family that you guys could never find or anything like that?
No, I mean, I'm not close with my family, but no.
Okay. Actually, I should have started. Part of this is we're building out that family tree, right?
Right.
Like, because certain things aren't filled. Like, you know, are you on Ancestry.com?
No.
Right. So that's the problem, right? So there's huge gaps. So it could show like Keri Spielman, right? Her, you know, great aunt gave DNA because she's an ancestry buff. So now we have to go out and build that out, right? That makes sense.
Yeah.
Too. So let me ask you this. You got mom, dad, obviously.
Mhm.
Do you have brothers and
I have a
sisters?
sister.
Okay, you have a sister. And what's your sister's name?
Wendy Morrison, Morrison.
Okay, and is she local?
She lives in Roxbury now.
Roxbury?
Mhm.
Okay.
She was in Watertown, and I think she went to Roxbury, Watertown, and then back to Roxbury.
DNA genealogy might not directly point towards one person, but with enough DNA samples from the family members, it can be clarified who the mother is. The detectives here are keeping their cards close to their chest with Keri to see her responses by asking her about her sister, Wendy. Keri is unaware that right before the interrogation, detectives already conducted what's known as a trash pull, and they collected discarded items from outside Keri's residence in Albany. And from that trash, a profile was created that clearly matched the baby, making it evident that Keri is the mother.
So, DNA is on everything. DNA is amazing at finding truths. I mean, they literally went to this woman's house, went through her trash, pulled her trash to get her DNA to match it up. Total amazing.
However, what they need is a clear story of what happened, and with every question, they are about to close in on the truth.
Actually, I didn't even ask you. So you said you have 2 kids, right?
Yes.
Okay.
She admits she has 2 children, 2 grown children. I would love to have a conversation with either one of these 2 children and say, what do you make of this? How do you feel? I mean, you know, these, I don't know the age of them at the time. They may say it, I don't remember, but I could never imagine finding out that my mother had done something like this. I would be in complete disbelief and total denial. I would never believe it. And I would need so much therapy to get over it. I feel sorry for these children that had no hand in this incident that has caused all this turmoil and trauma now in their lives. It's very disturbing to me.
Any other kids?
No.
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 Okay.
Plain as day. Nope.
I know it's kind of a personal question, but I have to. It's one of the things I got to ask. How many times have you been pregnant?
2.
2.
Yes.
Okay.
Very
Lie.
easy. Very.
Easy pregnancies.
Mhm.
No issues.
No.
What about after? Because like my wife, she got the postpartum. Did you ever get that?
No.
Really? Good for you. It was.
No.
It was.
And I have to say, I really like this officer's interrogation. He is good at what he does. He is so good. He can play the part. He can roll with the punches. I like him. I like his approach. I like the way he's doing this. He must be very well trained and seasoned.
Tough time in the lawyer households.
It wasn't really.
Oh my God.
No, I have good support system.
Okay.
You know, and they were good.
Okay. Your
the father of your two children, Josh and Hannah.
Yes.
You guys still together or
No, we're divorced.
divorced? Did you meet him in Roxbury or down here?
No, here.
Here?
We work together. Yeah.
At Tri-City?
Nope, at Camry.
The living resources. New.
Yes.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
So when did you meet him? How long after you came here?
Well, I met him immediately because we worked together.
Yep.
But then we started dating probably 2 years later. He was actually engaged.
Oh, he was
and then
engaged.
he was
at the time?
engaged, and then they broke up, and then yeah.
So part of this is we're going around, we're trying to collect DNA samples from people,
Mhm.
all right, to try and match to the remains and that we're doing. Is that something you'd be able to help us out with?
Yeah, that's
Give us
fine.
a sample of DNA.
She has absolutely no clue what's going on at this point. I mean, these guys have the wool pulled over her eyes.
Okay. Yeah, we can do that here in a
So
moment.
the remains were found where? Can you show me that?
Yeah.
Here we go.
So, are you familiar with this area at all?
Within Washington Park? I've seen it during Tulip Festival.
Okay. Have you ever been here?
Just looked. The only time I ever got to Washington Park was Tulip Festival.
Tulip Fest. Okay.
Yeah.
So where these flower beds are over here, right by this road,
Mhm.
this is where the remains
Oh.
are found. Yeah. But I mean,
Y'all see that odd look on her face? I'm gonna back that up just a second. That odd look.
right by this road,
Mhm.
this is where the remains
Oh.
are found. Yeah. But I mean, easy
Ooh, I'm
enough.
sorry. I've got goosebumps.
Oh, it's horrible.
Ugh.
I mean, it is.
This woman says, I got goose. You wonder why she got goosebumps? I got goosebumps going to the statue. Not gonna lie, I got goosebumps going there, but for different reasons. She's sitting here looking at a damn picture and she gonna get goosebumps? Wonder why, you dirty woman.
It's, every I'm sure whoever, whatever happened, there's an explanation, because generally there's an explanation to everything that happens because it
Right.
happened, right?
Right.
It's just a matter of figuring it out, and I think eventually we'll do that, but part of that is talking to people and figuring it out. We can do so much investigatively, like following DNA trails and stuff, and it is super cool. Like the way this stuff works. Like I swear to you, soon we're not there yet. But
So how does that work with DNA? Can you pinpoint?
yeah,
I don't watch any of those stupid.
No.
Sorry, I don't mean.
No,
stupid
no, it's not.
shows. They're
you're
like-
insulting my career.
No, they freak me out.
Law enforcement's not a special thing. It's like someone figures out a cool thing to do to solve crimes,
Right.
or figure stuff out, because not everything's a crime,
Mhm.
but to figure stuff out, and then everyone gets on it. Like Golden State Killer, he was a serial killer who's run around California for years, like numerous victims, and then
Curious as if she even knows who these people are.
they implored this technology that we're kind of using now.
Mhm.
And they were able to link him to all these crimes from like 30 years ago.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
It's a
That's
game changer.
crazy.
It's actually a huge help, like it generally does help us do what we got to do. So the way it works is, we go around, we obtain DNA samples from a bunch of different people, and then we end up zeroing in and figure out who mom and dad are.
Mhm.
Because it's that same kind of thing where everyone's DNA starts spreading out the branches of the trees.
Right.
But the more samples that we can find and we can keep comparing them, it keeps bringing us in because we find
Oh, wow.
the traits that are similar between the people.
That's amazing.
It's pretty cool.
It's cool, and it's like I said, this is a baby, if you couldn't tell.
I'm
yeah.
gonna throw up. That's gross.
I know. Here's the thing though, is, we're just trying to figure out what happened to it. The remains, they are what they are. We're honestly trying to just fill in the blanks here.
Mhm.
This is a historic event that happened. It is what it is. No one's changing that now. We're just trying to get some answers and figure out exactly what occurred. Whoever, the mother and father have their reasons for whatever they did. I'm not saying it's right.
Right.
you never know what kind of headspace someone's in. Like, you could look at me and I could appear put together, but I'm a mess in my personal life, you know?
Keri plays the part, nodding along, pretending to be impressed by the wonders of modern DNA, as if she's a curious bystander. But beneath the fake fascination is panic she can barely contain. Because no matter how amazed she pretends to be, science isn't here to entertain. It's here to expose her. And her innocent facade that she had been wearing for years was about to finally crumble.
So part of the thing is, you know, we're asking people as we're going through. So this is a very newborn baby that gets found. And we're trying to hash that out as to exactly what happened to it. And we're just getting people's perspective.
Right.
Like, I mean, these remains, they get found in Washington Park. I mean, in your mind, what would cause someone to leave a baby in a place? Anything you could think of?
No, because they have all those like hospitals, safe places.
Yeah, like a safe haven to leave kids.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna pause there because I do have a comment to make. When I first stumbled upon the baby Moses in quotes, because that's what the area name he was given, Moses Washington, because he was found under the Moses statue in Washington Park. So therefore they named him Moses Washington on his headstone. But when I first heard baby Moses, in the state of Texas, we have a baby Moses law. And I had thought, it's a safe haven law. It allows parents to safely and anonymously surrender an infant 60 days old or younger to a designated location like hospitals, fire stations, emergency medical stations, or EMS stations. And the law aims to prevent unsafe abandonment of infants by providing a safe alternative for parents who feel they cannot care for newborns. In Texas, there's designated locations, and there's no questions asked. They don't have to provide you, as a parent, you would not have to provide any information about yourself or the child. They're protected from prosecution for abandonment, neglect, or anything if they surrender the child at one of these designated locations. But that's how it has to be done in order to keep yourself safe as somebody surrendering the baby. So when I first heard baby Moses, I thought it was the same baby Moses law that was what we call in Texas. It also says there's no questions asked. It's a crucial aspect of the law ensuring anonymity and encourage parents to use the safe haven option. While baby Moses law provides a safe option, it also encourages parents to seek help and resources from pregnancy resource centers and other organizations before making their final decision to surrender the child. So, yeah, they didn't exist back then. That's what I was getting at, Denise, is they didn't exist back then. This baby Moses law, let me see if I can figure out when did it go into effect, because I mean, just as a curiosity, in Texas, okay, baby Moses law, also known as safe haven law, first went into effect in Texas in 1999. Texas was the first state in the country to enact a law of this kind to provide a legal and anonymous way for parents to surrender newborns they were unable to or unwilling to care for. So see, that's why I remember this. I remember this as a parent. I was, 1991 was when I had my child, so I had a child. So I knew, that this kind of stuff was going. In New York, it was 2000. Okay, so see, that's what I'm saying. This, that's why when I heard baby Moses, that was where my mind went, being from Texas. So Florida too, but It may not have been that way when she delivered. Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. That wasn't a thing when she delivered. You looked up, it was July 2000. I mean, so she is in the wrong. Don't get me twisted. Don't get me twisted. She is wrong for what she did. She is very wrong. But had there been something like this in place earlier, I don't know. We will continue to watch this. She will go on to tell you she had the baby in a bathtub. So I can't imagine being alone at home going through that. And exactly, mental health, pure panic, but she needs to be held accountable for horrific actions. Sorry, it chokes me up. It really does. It really does, because that there. There's hope for so many. There's hope for so many out there, and I don't know how to feel about this completely. I have my own.
I mean, that's what we're trying to wrap our head around.
No idea. No idea.
I mean, so there's some aggravating factors with this as well.
I think especially like how.
Right. I mean, that's what we're trying to wrap our heads around and get from people. I mean, this happened, and I think within short order we're going to be able to figure out definitely who mom is, and then we'll work through who dad is, and we got to collect all these DNA samples and go from there. But the thing about this is, so I'm sorry I got to show you this, but I do, because it is important. Okay. The baby was actually set on fire.
That reaction alone. Let's see. I don't know how to share this stuff, Cindy. Let's see. I mean, Denise. Let me see. I don't know how to share it, but it does say, Denise sent me, it says New York Safe Haven law officially named the Abandoned Infant Protection Act was enacted in July of 2000, according to the Office of Children and Family Services. Law allows parents to anonymously abandon a newborn up to 30 days old. Okay, in Texas, it's 60 days. Newborn up to 30 days old at designated locations without fear of prosecution. The law was amended in August 2010 to increase the time frame and provide additional incentives for safe abandonment. Sorry. Okay. All right. Thank you for that, Denise. You're right. She may have just buried her memories. Yeah, this is a lot.
Okay. The baby was actually set on fire.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, so not only was it abandoned, but...
Oh my God.
Yeah. So we're trying to figure out exactly what happened to this baby.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because here's the thing, right? It could be a couple different things here. We know the baby was alive. We know it breathed, had lung flowing through its airs, was healthy, was crying.
Sir, bless your heart. I know you're stressed, but did anybody else catch what he just said? He had lung flowing through its airs. I know he's stressed, bless his heart, but y'all know I got to find the comedy in the chaos, okay? Comedy in the chaos. He has his lungs were flowing through his airs. Bless his heart. I know he's stressed.
And then this happens.
Ugh.
Keri listens as detectives calmly lay out the facts. However, her reaction is minimal, which doesn't go unnoticed. Now, they just need to see what Keri will do with the facts laid out. And to their surprise, the truth is about to burst wide open with a chilling confession, one that no one saw coming.
So we're trying to figure out, who did it, obviously, right?
Right. No.
And y'all know, I mean, I don't know if y'all know, but I have watched a lot of behavior panelists and body language expert, and that hand over the mouth, she's keeping her mouth shut, keeping her from spilling.
Who did it, obviously, right?
Right. No.
Because in your mind, I mean, you see that. What's that scream to you?
But it's crazy. But, no.
But I mean, as I said, everything's explained.
Right.
But it's not me. I don't know, especially when, we can prove it.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the spot you want to be, or someone wants to be, I should say.
Right.
Right? Like if someone is truly related, or the mother or father of this child, the best thing they could do when we talk to them, and this is just me thinking out loud, is the best thing they could do when we talk to them is be truthful, right?
Okay, y'all will notice up here in the top, there's a countdown clock. When I hit play again, that you will see. Be prepared. It comes on quick.
Like, yeah, all right, yeah. This is what happened, but I didn't do that, or so-and-so did that, but people that lie, that ain't gonna go their way, right? Because everything gets figured out. As I was telling you, like that Golden State guy,
Right.
or all this stuff. Look at that Giglio Beach guy that killed all those girls.
Right.
They figure it out, because what they do is we end up, we go, we get DNA, we make comparisons, and God helps someone if they lie. Because all you have is your credibility, right? Because
all you have is your credibility. Don't lie. All you have is your credibility. Don't lie. And we are 38 seconds from her busting her mouth wide open.
27 years ago, baby Moses gets found here, right? And say you are mom, right? I'm not saying you are, but say you are, right? And we bring you down here, and you say, no, I'm not the mother. I was never pregnant then. What if that's not true? Like, we could figure all that stuff out, right? And then what happens is we go, hey, guess what? We found this baby, and the mother said she's not the mother. What's that scream to you? If you're like,
I did it. I did it.
You did it?
I did it.
Mother said she's not the mother. What's that scream to you? If you're like,
I did it. I did it.
You did it?
I did it.
What happened?
I got pregnant. I had the baby. I gave birth in my bathtub. Baby died. Didn't know how to get rid of it.
The confession came out of nowhere. Keri might have simply realized there was no way out. But this was only the beginning.
If I was that cop, I would have been like, okay. I mean, I would have been shocked that she just diarrhea all over. It just came out. I did it. I got pregnant. Got rid of it. Had it in the bathtub. Got rid of it. I can't imagine those words. Just okay.
What followed would turn the entire interrogation into a roller coaster, one filled with disturbing, tragic details that were about to surface for the first time in 27 years.
How'd the baby die?
I think I had water in the bathtub. I think it drowned.
You drowned it?
I didn't drown it.
Y'all listen, this is a roller coaster. She goes all over the place.
I think I had water in the bathtub. I think it drowned.
You drowned it?
I didn't drown it.
In that bathtub?
Yes.
Inside that apartment? Right there?
Yes.
Why did the baby?
I didn't baby.
Who did?
I don't know who did.
And just in case you cannot tell, the word they are using is burn. They are blocking it out, but that is the word they are using is burn.
Who'd you give the baby to?
I had the baby by myself. I went down to the park. I handed it to somebody.
Who'd you hand it to?
I don't know. Some random person.
Keri, that doesn't.
I swear to God.
You did not hand this baby to a random person. That didn't happen.
I didn't know what to do. I set the baby on fire.
Was it screaming?
No, it was dead. It was dead.
So, when you put the baby in?
How?
A towel? Because the doctor who did the autopsy says your version's full.
I put it in it.
No, what I'm saying is this baby was breathing for minutes. This baby was alive.
I had it in the. I did.
That doesn't lie. This is 27 years ago. Let's clean this up. Let's be done with this here and now. That baby died, not of natural causes.
I didn't kill the baby that I'm aware of. I had it in the bathtub.
She says that I'm aware of. But she keeps talking.
Didn't drown. There's no water in the lungs. That didn't happen. It's not of natural causes. There's no trauma. So that leaves one thing. And you know what that one thing is?
Suffocation.
This woman killed her own newborn, set the body on fire, and hid the truth for 27 years. And now, as the truth resurfaces, there's still no sign of remorse. She puts her lies over her confession like a cherry on top of a sundae. But this is where her lies are about to crumble.
Here's the thing. I get it. You're all alone in 1997. You probably moved here because you're pregnant and you're trying to hide it.
I did not. I moved here for a job.
Moved here for a
I
job.
didn't know I was pregnant until after I moved here.
Fair enough. And listen, I'm not disagreeing with that. It's probably true.
That is the truth.
But we know definitively that this child breathed. We know it was taking breath in its little lungs. All right? If you freaked out and did this, that's fine. We need to know. Look.
Yes.
Guess what?
The child.
With what?
I put it in the bag.
Put it in a bag. Did you cover his mouth, his nose?
I don't remember. I don't remember that part. I may have. I don't know that I put it in a bag though.
Okay, let's talk about this. Did you hear the baby cry and screaming?
I did not.
You didn't hear the baby cry?
No, I swear. Not that I remember. I do not remember hearing the baby crying.
We put him in a bag. And we know he's alive. We definitively know that from
that's
the doctor. You know?
because an autopsy was completed on the baby, and that's how we know the baby didn't drown.
So that's what we need to figure out. And we honestly want to know because there's, the one thing I've consistently said about this whole thing is I have more questions than I have answers. And I hate being in that spot,
Yeah.
So we're trying to figure that out and we need to flush that out so we can all move forward. This is a long, long time ago. You know what I mean? So you have the baby in the tub. It doesn't drown.
No.
Okay.
I did have it in the tub. I don't remember covering its mouth and nose. Did I? Maybe. I do remember putting it in the bag. I don't remember hearing it cry.
What kind of bag?
I think like a Walmart type.
Like a plastic
like
bag?
a plastic bag.
Okay. And then, how'd you get down to Washington Park?
Drove.
You drove. And you're by yourself?
Yeah. 1,000%.
The detectives had their confession. But with Keri, another lie is never too far behind. So they need to get the whole story straightened out. And while the core of the confession is over, the gruesomeness of the story isn't. And what follows would take the case to an entirely new level of horror.
Did you ever go see a doctor about being pregnant?
Like I said, I gave birth in the bathtub.
And then you go to Washington Park. At any point, did you see any, when you're on your way down there, did you see any police stations? Did you see any hospitals? Did you
No.
see any?
No. They just,
And it's funny that they're asking her these questions, if you think about it. It's funny that they're asking her these questions. Did you see a police department, a hospital, anything like, I mean, but again, that wasn't a thing then. It wasn't a law, a option. I think Journey, the boyfriend, her husband was not the father. The father, welcome in, Vibe. Thanks, love. I know you're on the other channel. I know I'm dual streaming on both my channels right now. No, it was not. It was not. It was alive. It was breathing air, and she did a fire thing with. She will go on to say she suffocated it first. I'll let it finish playing. But the boyfriend, I believe from the way she spoke, is somebody from her previous life before she moved down to this area and became Mrs. Mazzuca with having 2 more children. So I believe, yeah, she said that, but yeah. Even before the baby drop, even before the drop baby places, she could have reached out to a hospital or police for help. I didn't see your question, Vibe. It was probably in the other thing still. I'm sorry, love. Did I? Oh, wait, I did see it. Did you see the lady that had 7 babies in boxes? Oh, my Lord. No, I did not. I did not. That is horrible. You know, we came up on this one, Vibe, because I will drop this link again. Which is a link. It is called DNASolves. And within this website, they have solved many, many cold cases throughout the recent years with DNA. And this is just one of the cases they've solved. And I hope to go back and cover a few more cases that I can pick out and actually get information on to be able to give light to these people that are no longer with us. So.
You just want to get rid of the baby. How did you figure out to set it on fire?
I don't know. I don't.
Do you remember if you used matches or a lighter?
I think matches on the lighter.
Matches.
I think. Why? I don't.
So I got to ask you the natural thing, because based on the way the baby's found, did you hear her scream, cries as the baby was?
No, I think the baby was dead at that point.
At what point, before or after you leave your house, did the baby die?
I think before.
Before.
I don't remember it. No.
Do you remember the baby looking at you?
No, I think I was just so, like I said, gave birth in the bathtub, was dealing with myself. I don't think I really, I don't remember it crying. I don't remember.
Just you remember moving?
No, not. No, I mean, it was, I think I was just trying to take care of myself, you know?
Yeah. How did you sever the umbilical cord?
Scissors.
Scissors. I mean, here's the thing. We know from what the doctor told us, right, that this baby was taking breaths, was alive, right? So what we need to sort out now.
Do you think her mouth is dry? She sure is chugging that water. I'm sure she's having some racing thoughts right now. Oh, they do. They do, Cindy. I don't know if they asked that yet or not, but they do. All right, Denise, move to your big screen. I'm much better on the big screen, right? Let me back this up just a second.
I think before.
Before.
I don't remember it. No.
Do you remember the baby looking at you?
No, I think I was just so, like I said, gave birth in the bathtub, was dealing with myself. I don't think I really, I don't remember it crying. I don't remember.
Just you remember moving?
No, not. No, I mean, I think I was just trying to take care of myself,
Yeah. How did you sever the umbilical cord?
Scissors.
Scissors. I mean, here's the thing. We know.
There's your answer, Cindy. Scissors. Could you imagine? Just stop. Take a moment to think. As some of us in here are women. There are men in here, but some of us are majority are women. Think. I couldn't imagine being in a bathtub and having to take care of all that. That's just.
From what the doctor told us, right, that this baby was taking breaths, was alive, right? So what we need to sort out now, between us three in this room, so we can all be done with it and move on, is how exactly this baby died, right? I mean, here's the thing.
I must have suffocated it. I mean,
It's not-
that's all I can. My recollection, like I blocked it.
Keri tries to use time to her advantage, counting on the fact that the case is nearly 3 decades old and memories might fade. But like every time before, her version of events is about to crumble yet again. And this is where her bizarre motive comes to light as she finally reveals the chilling truth.
We got to do an honest account of that with each other. Not I think, because this is something you don't forget. You probably haven't thought about it in a long time, but it's definitely something you don't forget.
I put my hands over its mouth and nose.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
And then you press down?
Yeah. I think.
No, not I think. It's either did or didn't. And I'm not pressuring you to say something, but I need a definitive answer here.
Yes.
Yes, what?
I pressed down.
Did the baby stop crying when you did that?
Again, I don't remember the baby crying, but it must have. I don't remember the baby crying.
I want you to think back to 1997 when you had your hand over your mouth and nose. Did you feel those little breaths hitting your hand?
Yes.
How long until it stopped?
10 minutes? I don't know.
You held your hand on the baby's 10 minutes?
I don't. Timing, I don't know.
Why?
Why did I do it?
Yeah.
None.
I think I just had no clue what I think I was just in shock.
You're in shock. Had you met Jason yet at that point?
We were working together.
Did you like him at that point?
No, he was engaged. We were just co-workers.
So this is something you were young and you were scared?
Yeah, he doesn't even know about this.
Have you ever told anyone?
No.
Never
Nobody.
told anyone?
Well, we haven't told anybody?
No.
Mom, dad,
Nobody.
sister, nobody?
Nobody.
Just kept it inside the whole time?
Now, I gotta ask you this, because it's been a long time. After 27 years, how have you never told anyone?
I'm ashamed. I'm embarrassed. I blocked it out of my memory. I didn't even know today was the date. Like I just wiped it.
In the U.S., during the year 1997, an average
I am going to let this play through instead of skipping, because a lot of times I skip over things like this, but this was very informative when I watched it. So I want to make sure that this was played. It was very informative.
Wiped it.
In the U.S., during the year 1997, an average of 20 fetal terminations per 1,000 women occurred in the 15 to 44 age group, most of them being younger than 25 years old. And Keri was 25 when she became pregnant with baby Moses, old enough to understand her options. But instead of seeking help or even informing the father, she made a fatal decision. At 25 and already working at a respected real estate firm, Keri wasn't some confused teenager. She was a grown adult, making grown decisions that have consequences. Unfortunately, one of those decisions was murder. And by the time anyone learned the truth, the damage wasn't just done. It had been neatly wrapped and buried for nearly 3 decades. And the detectives are about to confront a stone-cold mother who doesn't flinch and sits proudly narrating the horror without an inch of guilt.
What's it feel like to kill someone?
Terrible. Terrible.
Like, walk me through your emotions. I always ask everyone that's killed someone, and you're not the first person.
Shame, embarrassment, hatred of myself.
When did that kick in?
Immediately.
After you did it?
Mhm.
So after you pressed on that baby's face, and you recall pushing on his face,
I do now, yes.
and you felt those little breaths hitting your hand, and then you felt them stop. How long after that did you take this baby down to Washington Park?
An hour or two.
An hour or two. And that's a towel, you said?
I believe it was a towel. A blanket, a towel.
And you put...
Was it?
I'm going to pause. Beginner, this is a very rough subject, love. So if you can't handle it, I totally understand. But good evening. I'm glad you're here. So just want to let you know there is big trigger warning with this one since you just got here. You missed the trigger warning earlier. So it is a little bit of a rough one. Glad you're here, though.
Towel?
Oh, it's like a pillowcase. It does kind of look like a pillowcase. Could be a towel. I don't know. Pillowcase, towel, some sort of cloth object. Did you wrap it in that?
Yes.
But the baby was definitely dead before you set it on fire, right?
Yes. 1,000% it was dead before I left the apartment.
You killed it.
I believe it was dead before I left the apartment. I can't say 100% sure because I didn't, feel a pulse or anything. I didn't.
If you had, let me ask you this, if you had not done what you did, would that baby still be alive today?
Yes.
Anything we didn't ask you? Do you think's important?
No.
If you could say anything to that baby right now, what would it be?
I love you and I'm sorry.
If he asked you, why'd you do this to me?
I was young, stupid, and
But you weren't that young, ma'am. I think that's my whole problem with this is that she was 25. Cindy, I see that too. It's like she's telling someone else's story. It's so heartbreaking and heart-wrenching. She's so cold as she sits there. I don't understand her emotions. I mean, maybe this is a big trauma response. I mean, she's rediscovering all these emotions, maybe that, this is just me speculating and guessing, maybe she's, rediscovering these emotions that she has packed away for 27 years. So, who knows? Who knows?
And it's, if I could show you the panorama one, went all the way around.
Did you ever go back to the park? No, never.
I mean, I've gone for like the Tulip Fest or something like that.
Events, but not.
No.
Could you imagine just the thought of that, going back to the park where you have buried a infant, but you go back to that park for a festival? You go and enjoy a tulip festival in that same park a couple of times? I don't think I
Did you ever go, when you went for Tulip Fest, did you ever go to this area?
No. I mean, just walking around with friends or whatever, but I just, like I said, I blocked it out.
Her words feel hollow, and the absence of remorse is chilling. The detective tries to bring emotion into the conversation, hoping to break through. But Keri remains cold and detached. And yet, the disturbing story is still not over. What remains is the details of the traumatic delivery.
As you recall, the evening hours, you started feeling cramping, and you believed that was you about to give birth.
Mm-hmm.
You got a pair of scissors. You went into the bathtub where you ran warm water, I would assume?
Yes.
Where you ran warm water. And then you delivered the baby. You pulled the baby out. You cut the umbilical cord. Cut it with your right hand or your left hand?
I'm right-handed.
Right-handed, okay. You recall baby moving around. You don't recall if it was crying, but you know it was alive because it was moving. You put the baby down.
Okay.
You cut the umbilical cord. You take care of yourself. and then you placed your hand over the baby's nose and mouth and applied pressure until the baby stopped moving. Did you know you were going to kill it when you were doing that?
Yes, I think yes.
So you knew what you were doing, but you did, correct?
Right. I knew what I was doing. I was young. I was stupid. I didn't,
Okay.
Yeah.
So you intentionally kill this baby. Then, after about an hour, you go to Washington Park and set the baby on fire. And if that baby were alive today, you would say, I love you and I'm sorry.
Yeah. Now that I'm older, wiser, have kids, and
Have kids.
You're not.
you're young, stupid, and
Yeah. It's a long time ago,
it's a
Keri.
long time ago.
Keri, do you know who the father is?
Where's he live?
I have no idea.
How'd you link up with him?
We were in Roxbury together.
Goddamn, Roxbury.
He's old, much older than well, not much older, but he's older than I am. And
Like how much older?
5 years. I think he's married now, and I don't know if he has kids.
And that was a consensual thing you guys had done together? That wasn't.
It was consensual. Yes, he has no idea. He didn't even know I was pregnant.
Okay. But I'm saying you weren't or anything like that.
No.
Could you imagine now? I haven't watched the sentencing. I have not watched the sentencing. Lois, just so you're aware, it's a very rough stream. So if I've done all my mental health and trigger warnings and stuff. So yeah, this is a rough stream just for anybody recently coming in. I didn't want to trigger anybody. Very premeditated. And that was the thing is that I was going to say was that here she is. The boyfriend didn't even know she was pregnant at the time. She did all this 26, 27 years. Could you imagine being that gentleman? The knock on the door of somebody coming and saying, sir, we have found your deceased child. It was buried in the park. Do you remember that baby Moses back in 1997? He was yours. As a parent, how do you deal with that as a parent? I mean, yesterday we watched the video of Dom's mom going through what she had to go through as a parent, finding out losing her child. Could you imagine what this father who had no idea that, this lady obviously says he's got other children and is married. Could you imagine the knock on the door? No.
Every word out of her mouth is disturbing, but ignorance or panic doesn't excuse the murder of a newborn. Sadly, Keri isn't the only mother who's taken such a horrifying step. It's a grim reminder that the very person meant to protect a child can sometimes be the one who destroys them. And Keri, she's about to prove she hasn't grown wiser with time, only older.
You give me your word?
Yes. So yeah,
I don't care what anyone has done. Like
I'm in a relationship. I'm happy. I'm, my kids.
Yeah.
So now what?
Well, and do you know, every time she says my kids, what goes through this officer's mind? This was one of your kids too. This was one of your children too. You keep talking about your kids now, but hello.
Yeah.
I mean, we got to figure out what's what now. I mean, I want to honestly just take a second process everything we just talked about, and I'm sure you do too.
Right. I mean, am I in trouble? Am I going to be arrested?
I mean, I can't definitively say that. I honestly don't know. Like, it's so long ago and there's so many variables. I'm more mainly concerned with, like, I don't care if people get arrested or not, as like just me as a cop. I never care about that. That's why I love investigations, because all I want to do is just figure out what happened.
Right.
Like, if you didn't kill this kid, great. If you did,
yes,
don't do that.
No.
I mean, we got to figure it out. Give me a minute to process everything we just said here, because it is a lot. I honestly don't know, Keri. What do you?
It's exactly what I was fixing to say. I'll let it play.
What do you think should happen out of this?
Personally, if it was years ago, I think I should be in trouble. It's 27 years later. I've got my life back in order. I don't know.
Right.
I mean,
I got my life back in order.
And I did it.
Did what?
I killed a child. I killed a baby.
Yeah, I mean,
I
would you say you murdered it?
I would have to say that's what I did.
Yeah. At what point did you decide that's the burning was what you were going to do?
I started to walk away. And then I was afraid that there might be evidence on the towel. So it
you
wasn't
did
the baby, it was
You were trying to get rid of the
towel. Or whatever, blanket towel, whatever.
Why not just take the towel?
Stupid, young, not thinking, not.
Because him and I have talked about this a lot. Like, I've really tried to get in your headspace from that time. Because I pride myself on being a pretty decent person.
I just don't think at that point, and I was physically ill too. I was kept passing out with the towel. I had wiped the baby off again. And then I think I was afraid my fingerprints or whatever would be on the towel. So I wasn't setting the baby on fire. I was setting the towel on fire.
What a saint she is. She only meant to burn the evidence, not the baby. Keri still seems to believe that somehow makes her look better. It's clear she hasn't changed one bit in 27 years. No remorse, no guilt, just the same cold, self-serving mindset. In fact, she genuinely thinks that because the crime is decades old, she might catch a break. But she cannot be more wrong.
I mean, it happened. I was stupid. I was dumb. I was young. I'm embarrassed. And honestly, I'm kind of glad it's over because somebody else knows at this point.
You feel relieved?
I do. In a way. Yeah.
That had to eat you up.
For years it did.
Yeah.
But then.
Unmute Sheila, unmute Sheila, unmute Sheila. I'm over here hollering. For years it did. But what? I mean,
For years it did.
Yeah.
But then.
Now you've made peace with it?
I did. I think after having my kids and I don't know. I don't know if I made peace with it. I just
Learn to cope with it, I
I
should
guess,
say.
yes.
Well, that's like any trauma, it doesn't matter if it's
5 years, 20 years.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if it's military service, first responder, car crash.
I mean, I've had so much other crap in my life, my house robbed, it's just.
Yeah. Someone sees this as this baby set on fire, and they're like, what monster did that? But you lay out your logic of, no, I wasn't trying to hurt the baby. I was trying to destroy physical evidence, right? So honestly, explaining things like that and talking it out, things aren't always what they appear, right? I mean, is it a killing of a human being? Yes. Yeah, it's an intentional killing, but the heinous part of it, you offered an explanation, which, okay, fair enough. So as far as dealing with that and prepping people, if that's something you choose to do, go ahead. I'm not going to tell you what to do or how to live your life.
Right.
You got anything?
Nope. Pretty good. I think we went over everything.
Do you have any questions of me? I've asked you a lot of questions.
I'm worried about my career and everything too,
Yeah.
you should
Rightfully
be.
so. Rightfully so. You don't know. I mean, which is partially why I have to ask you, are you thinking about harming yourself?
No.
Okay.
No, how plain did she say that? No, absolutely not. Nope. I just took out the child. I have no journey. This is awful. I'm gonna look into it in a little bit. I'm maybe part of tomorrow's stream. Thank you for all the updates. I mean, she's just like.
Keri's idea of trauma was having her house robbed. But when it came to what her own newborn endured, she spoke with the calm of someone discussing the weather. Until the end, her only concern was herself, making it painfully obvious she never felt a shred of remorse. But in a case like this, where both the motive and the murderer are senseless, What does justice even look like? Unfortunately, Keri wasn't arrested with murder charge on the spot. There were still too many variables to sort through in a case this old. But that didn't mean it was over. Keri Mazzuca never went to a full trial. Instead, she chose to take a plea deal.
All right. So that is where we will roll into another one. We are going to watch her sentencing. That was my whole thing of getting to this point, was I wanted to watch the sentencing, but I wanted to tell the story of baby Moses before we get to Keri Mazzuca's sentencing. So this is the sentencing for Keri Mazzuca for taking the life of baby Moses Washington as his given name by the people of his community.
Be known as baby Moses, of a baby who has come to be known as baby Moses, because the only family member that baby Moses ever had in his life, the only person who ever interacted with this young, very short-lived life that this baby had, was the defendant who sits before Your Honor, Keri Mazzuca, also known as as Keri Spielman, under her maiden name. Now, baby Moses received his name from the place in which his body was found. He was found located next to a statue in the park, the Moses statue. His tombstone reads Moses Washington, because the park was Washington Park. That baby's identity has always been attached to where he came to die. But today, Your Honor, we know the true identity of that baby, and that is baby Spielman. And baby Spielman's short-lived life was filled with nothing but suffering and pain. And that suffering and pain came at the hands of the defendant, his own mother. Now, as the court has already indicated, the people did make a submission to Your Honor for consideration, as did defense counsel. And I would like to take a brief moment to comment on the submission by defense counsel, because in that submission, defense counsel lays out 24 separate cases in which women have caused the death of their own babies. And in his submission, he says that these are somewhat similarly situated to the case here. And I submit to you, Your Honor, the only thing that is similarly situated is the fact that mothers took the lives of their own children, and that is it. As this court is very aware, every case is different factually and is different legally, and with the effects that the law has on the facts in those cases, or each of those cases. I'd like to go through a few of the cases, if I may. 8 of the cases cited by defense counsel are teenagers, which Ms. Mazzuca was not at the time of this killing. She was a 25-year-old college graduate, fully employed, living on her own in Albany. She was not a teenager. 4 of those cases involved women who provided or failed to provide proper care to those babies, causing them either to starve or freeze. And in one of those cases, the woman actually was suffering from drug use, had been sexually abused, and had 3 other children she couldn't even care for. 5 of the cases were in regards to women with mental health issues. 1 was a psychiatric defense relative to one of the defendants in those cases. And as the court is very aware, based upon the report that was prepared by a doctor of the defense's choosing, Ms. Mazzuca suffers from no mental health issues whatsoever.
All right. That's the first I've heard that. Okay. Hey, TCN. Thanks for being here, love. And always here to entertain and give you content to watch, babe. That's the first time, because I, like I said, I have not watched the sentencing. I was not aware. She has no mental health problems by a doctor of their choosing that reviewed her. Okay.
She has not suffered any trauma. This pregnancy was not the cause of a rape. This was not a situation in which trauma brought about the result that we have here today. 3 of the cases involve women who put babies in plastic bags and then that caused the suffocation. 2 of those, I will note, were teenagers. 3 of those cases involved statements that were suppressed by the court of the defendant's statements, and so those couldn't be considered. 6 of the cases included violent acts. 5 of those were adults, and I will note for this court that each of the cases that included violent acts, the sentences in those cases included
Good
life.
Lord.
The one outlier is a teenager. The teenager who received a lower sentence of 10 years because her attorney advocated for her on her youthful nature at the time of the killing of her baby. And I point all of these out to you, Your Honor, because what you have to do, the position you are now in, is decide the appropriate sentence for Keri Mazzuca based upon the facts and circumstances of this case and this case alone, not the cases of other jurisdictions and places outside of even New York State. Ms. Mazzuca actually wrote you a letter, and in that letter she states, I do not want to rehash the events of September 6th, 1997. You know them. And you do, Your Honor. You know all of the facts and circumstances. You've had a chance to review the grand jury transcript. You've had a chance to review the submission by the people. And you've had a chance to review the letters that were written by members of law enforcement who were involved in this 27-year investigation. You know the facts and circumstances. Keri Mazzuca doesn't want to admit to you, Your Honor, her actual involvement in what she did. And there is one very telling component that I have learned throughout the course of this case. And there's an old adage that says the truth never changes. But with Keri Mazzuca, she panders to her audience. Depending on who she's speaking to is what she provides details in accordance to. I will give her grace for denying to her own family, to her parents, to her friends, that she smothered this baby and that she set this baby on fire. I will give her grace for denying that in every jail call she made with them.
Oh, jail calls? I'm sorry, what? I don't have these. I think I might need, oh my.
I fail to understand why, when she's speaking to a doctor who is evaluating her to determine whether or not she has extreme emotional disturbance and denial of pregnancy, that she wouldn't be completely forthcoming. Now, the doctor in the report indicates that there were some discrepancies between what Ms. Mazzuca told the detectives and what Ms. Mazzuca told her. And the doctor indicated that that was likely due to the denial of pregnancy. I submit to you, Your Honor, it is likely due because the detectives knew all of the details. And her story continued to change depending upon what details were presented to her and she learned that they knew, including a photo of the condition of the baby when it was found. The people had provided to the court in its submission pictures of that baby, that 9-pound, 3-ounce baby that was left in Washington Park. And if there is one thing that Ms. Mazzuca seems to change and not want to completely admit to is the setting fire to that baby.
Sorry, I
She
sneezed.
indicated to
And
the
I pulled my
detectives, I
headphones
set
off.
the baby on fire. And when they asked her about the towel, blanket, whatever that blue cloth was, it was either on the baby or under the baby. But the baby was inside of that cloth. When she speaks to the probation officer and the doctor who was evaluating her, she indicates that she had wiped the baby off with that cloth and set it to the side of the baby and set the cloth on fire and wanted the baby to be found, which is why she left it in a public place. I submit to you, Your Honor, the photos that you have before you and that we submitted to you show that that is not true. That baby is very clearly inside of whatever that cloth is. It looks like he's wearing a hood because it is directly on top of his head. He is completely burned in his entire back, including the back of his head. There is a reason, Your Honor, why Ms. Mazzuca does not want to admit that component. That reason, Your Honor, is because she did not want anything to do with this baby. Not just that she didn't want to have the baby, she wanted to completely erase its existence. Not just her fingerprints, but the baby himself. Now, Your Honor, the probation officer in this case had an opportunity to meet with Ms. Mazzuca and had an opportunity to review the statements that were submitted by members of law enforcement. And I'd like
Oh, these are going to be statements from law enforcement. Oh, these are going to be hard, guys. All right. Okay.
to take a moment for purposes of this record to read a section of the opinion that was determined by the probation officer, Barbara, after the defendant described herself as an upstanding citizen. In this writer's opinion, the defendant presents as the polar opposite of an upstanding citizen. By her own admission, she had other options to killing her newborn child. Though she made a point of informing this writer, back then they didn't have the resources or the safe haven boxes. This writer is older than the defendant and is quite certain that back then there were ample alternatives to killing an innocent child. However, this writer is in agreement with the defendant on the matter of the length of her proposed sentence, that 22 to 25 years in prison is not fair, quote unquote fair. The defendant insisted her surviving children still need mom. Well, baby Spielman needed his mom as well. And not only did she fail to act as a mother, but she destroyed this precious new life, literally smothering him to death. This woman killed her own child. She killed her children's brother. She killed her parents' grandbaby. No. In this writer's opinion, her proposed sentence is far from fair to baby Spielman. He deserved a chance to live his life, and she selfishly and needlessly deprived him of this. In this writer's opinion, the Albany police detectives involved in this case were more personally affected by the baby's death than the defendant. The defendant went on to live her life, having gotten away with the killing for over 2 decades. If she had not gotten caught, this writer is confident that this horrible crime would have remained unsolved. A spontaneous confession by the defendant was not likely to come. This writer is also fairly certain that the defendant was not agonizing for very long over her choices. Based upon this writer's conversation with the defendant, as well as the disturbing revelations made by the Albany police detectives, this writer is under the impression that there is little to no true remorse felt by the defendant. She is sorry she was caught.
You know, TCN, I don't know. I haven't watched this sentencing. I haven't watched this, so this was all live reaction for me. But I'm looking, and I'm going to grab my microscope here, just because we're nosy like that. This lady in the yellow sure looks a lot like her. I wonder if she's related, and I wonder if the older lady next to her might be her mom. This is just pure speculation. I don't know. But they do favor her looking at their looks. I think they favor her tremendously. So it was just a curious observation.
Your Honor, baby Spielman would be 27 years old today if he were still alive. He was never able to celebrate those years, but his memory was carried on through the incredible work of the detectives and law enforcement that sit in your courtroom, who took 27 years to determine exactly what happened to this child. And but for their work, it would have never been solved, and this baby would have continued to be baby Moses instead of now baby Spielman. I ask you, Your Honor, today, let's celebrate baby
That's what I
Spielman,
meant.
and let's give him the justice that he deserves. And the only appropriate sentence that the court can impose is 25 years determinant, followed by 5 years of post-release supervision on the manslaughter and the first-degree plea, and 1 1/3 to 4 years to run concurrent on the tampering with evidence. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. Blaine-Lewis. Mr. Sofranco, do you wish to address the court in regards to sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. Judge, as you know, this is a tough case for everybody involved, for the court, for the people, and for the defense. And whatever sentence you impose today is a harsh, significant, and a fair sentence. And no one, Judge, wants to be judged on their worst acts or actions. But that's what is happening today, and frankly, deservedly so. I did submit you several cases, and I did put in my sentencing memo that every one of those cases could be distinguished, aggravated, or mitigated. It was not meant to impose or any way infer that the proposed disposition in this case is not fair or that she deserves a less sentence. Judge, if you took 100 people and asked them what the appropriate sentence in this case is, I'm pretty confident you would get 100 different answers, ranging from nothing all the way to death and everything in between. Neonaticide happens, and frankly, scarily happens more times than one would think, approximately 77 times a year. The fact that there are no underlying mental health conditions is consistent with Dr. Hatter-Friedman's expert report that what occurred here was done under an extreme emotional disturbance. And I am comfortable and confident to the court that had we gone to trial, I believe we would be up in the same spot, having you sentence Ms. Mazzuca on a manslaughter charge to what she pled guilty to. She admitted her guilt to you. She admitted her guilt to the probation department. She admitted her guilt to Dr. Hatter-Friedman. I know that there's some talk within the probation report and the district attorney's comments that Ms. Mazzuca's statements were made solely to try to convince you to give her a lower sentence. And Judge, I can tell you that several members of her family and those that wrote letters of support are here today. And I can also tell you, Judge, a high percentage of the letters that we submit.
So that probably is her mother and sister, because he said family's written letters and they are here today. So I think our speculation may be correct.
In support of Ms. Mazzuca were done without ever being asked.
I'm sorry, what? I need to hear what he just said again, because I interrupted him and I think he said something that was important.
Judge, a high percentage of the letters that we submitted in support of Ms. Mazzuca were done without ever being asked. So, Judge, you have a very difficult job today. This is a tough case no matter what sentence you give, whether it's the 25 years or you do show some discretion. And it's hard because living an otherwise good life in an aberration deserves some credit. To work in a field, to work for one of the prominent real estate development firms in this area for over 24 years, being exemplary employee in a firm that probably does more community service and community-based values than any in the area. You can't do that. You can't maintain jobs if you're a terrible person. Did she commit a terrible act? Absolutely. Does she deserve to be punished? 1,000%. But there's no question that she has an otherwise zero criminal history and lived a law-abiding life. And while I certainly cannot disagree with Miss Wayne Lewis that baby Steelman did deserve her mom, she's been a great mom to her two children that were able to. And Judge, for all those reasons, we would ask that you use some discretion and sentence her to arrange within the 22 to 25-year mark. Thank you, Your Honor.
Does your client wish to address the court?
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh,
Please
she
rise.
speaks. Shit.
I'll hear you.
Okay. Whoa. Whoa. Did y'all hear the tone of that judge? Jesus. Please rise. I'll hear you. Oh, that judge doesn't sound happy.
Rise. I'll hear you.
Your Honor, first I want to say I'm sorry. I did a horrible, unimaginable thing, and I live with remorse and regret. I am a great mom. I've lived a law-abiding life, and I do deserve a lengthy sentence. I just hope you use some discretion and go with the lower end. Thank you.
That's
you have anything
it.
else to say?
At this point, thank you.
You can be seated.
This judge, he's direct, ain't he?
This case represents a tragedy beyond measure. Beyond measure, because how can the court measure the life that baby Moses would have led? And I'll call him baby Moses, not baby Spielman, because the detectives and officers who found him and gave him that name showed more love and consideration for your child than you ever did.
Oh, shit.
How can I measure what he would have accomplished in his life?
Oh, shit.
How can I measure what he would have accomplished scholastically or athletically or professionally? He'd be 27 now. Probably have children of his own. How can I measure the joy and love he would have had in his life? Or the joy and love he would have given to others, including his own mother and siblings, who he never had a chance to because his mother snuffed out his life? It's a tragedy beyond measure, because how can I measure the fear and panic that a young mother, you, must have felt as you delivered this child without having shared your pregnancy with anyone else in the bathtub in your apartment? But how do I measure that against the darkness, the selfishness, the malevolence of a mother who could nurture a child in her womb for 9 months and then snuff his life out within moments of his birth after only a few breaths, and who then would take her child to a park and cover him with some sort of blanket or cloth and set that cloth on fire in an attempt to obscure her responsibility, not only for her crime, but for that child, for baby Moses himself. It's a tragedy beyond measure, because what possible sentence could this court impose that would compensate for or redress the death sentence you gave to baby Moses, or the life sentence you gave to yourself? A sentence that you've lived every day, I would hope, although your statements seem to betray otherwise. A sentence of you thinking every day about the life you took. An innocent, guiltless life. And how does the court measure the continuing, and I understand Mr. Safranco's comments that no one wants to be measured by the worst act or the worst day in their life, but the continued, even after now, obviously, having been brought to the bar and held responsible for your terrible act, how does the court measure what strikes the court as your continued denial of, quite frankly, any real responsibility in this matter? You've admitted your acts that ended the life of your child, but you, from the court's perspective, still haven't acknowledged the tragedy, the horror of it all. I'll note in regards to leniency, or to take into account all of those things that Mr. Safranco argued on your behalf, the permitted plea and sentence already takes into consideration that you would have faced potentially a life sentence had you been found guilty of the charges that the people might have brought, but for this plea bargain. And the fact that the people and you agreed and the court permitted you to plead guilty to manslaughter in the first degree already, this court believes, takes into account the specific circumstances of this case. I see no sentence that could appropriately address this situation, but the court deems the only appropriate sentence on the charge of manslaughter in the first degree is to a 25-year determinate sentence to be followed by 5 years post-release supervision. You're assessed a mandatory surcharge of $300, the crime victim assistance fee of $25, and the DNA data bank fee of $50. If you're unable to pay those amounts, those will be deducted from inmate funds during the period of your incarceration. As to your plea and sentence for tampering with physical evidence, the second count of the indictment you're charged with, you will receive a 1 1/3 to 4 year indeterminate sentence to run concurrently with or at the same time as the sentence you've received on your manslaughter in the first degree conviction. I'll assess no additional fines or surcharges or fees on that. As I said, that will run concurrent. I'll note at the time of your plea, you waived your right to appeal, both orally under oath and in writing, but I'm going to have you now review with your attorney the Third Department's confirmation of your previous waiver of right to appeal. Mr. Sifranco, please review that document with your client.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Let the record reflect that the defendant reviewed the notice of intention with respect to appeal with her attorney. She then circled, "I do not wish to appeal," and she signed the document. Mr. Sifranco co-signed it. I'll make that part of the court record. People, anything else at this time?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Mr. Sifranco, anything else on behalf of your client?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Court stands in adjournment.
She will not appeal. She will take her sentence. That bailiff is like, "Stand up, let's go. I have been standing here waiting on you. It's time to move, ma'am." Good question, Journey. Good question. With that, I'm going to switch over to this one real quick. I'm going to share this. This was from 3 months ago. And it goes over when it talks about on June 19th, Governor George Bush at the time signed the safe haven law into effect. So that's what this is. Let's watch this.
25 years ago, the safe haven law was passed in Texas. It's also known as the Baby Moses Law, allowing someone to give up a baby, leaving the infant at a safe place like a fire, EMS, or police station, but the person having to leave the child with an employee on site. Now, in 2023, the law was revised, allowing a person to surrender a child anonymously.
Tonight, KTAB's Noah McKinney speaking with a local attorney about the reason that law was put into place and researching the history behind the fight to legislate a safer surrender for Texas newborns. Tonight's top story.
Police say a Good Samaritan found a blanketed baby laying beside this mailbox.
A approximately 1-month-old infant boy in a car seat just left in the middle of Pecos Street.
Stories and headlines of abandoned babies are unfortunately nothing new, as Abilene criminal defense and personal injury attorney Brandy Young can attest.
We have had occasion to represent clients that found themselves in some of those very tragic situations. What we see a lot of times I think on the news are very vulnerable women giving birth to children in not hospital settings, not knowing what to do.
And prior to 1999, that question came with a lot more fears than it does today.
Fear of judgment, fear of prosecution, fear of going to jail, or stopping some of those parents from taking the child to a hospital.
While the reasons a guardian may find themselves in that situation vary, the end result was too often an infant being abandoned in unsafe conditions.
Fortunately, most of us have never been in that situation. But as a society, we've also recognized we care about protecting that child more than we care about, well, why did you do this? Our legislators saw that. We are not protecting our most vulnerable.
On June 3rd, 1999, then Governor George Bush signed the Baby Moses Law, authored and introduced by Texas State Representative Jeannie Morrison, making Texas the first in the nation to provide legal protections for parents or guardians to surrender an infant no older than 60 days to a designated emergency infant care provider such as hospitals or fire stations, rather than the child being abandoned or, in extreme cases, left to die.
Removing all impediments that a parent or guardian may feel to doing the best for the child.
The recent addition of safe haven baby boxes, allowing for safe surrender in a controlled environment without that face-to-face contact that may have kept a guardian from choosing the safest option.
Admitting and accepting I can't care for this newborn, but I'm going to do the best for him or her is really the best gift that any parent or guardian could give. Here in the big country, we want to support that. To know that we're here, not to judge, candidly, not to even really try to figure out why, but we want you to know you've got options.
Okay, I wanted to back up and let it play this again, just to be able to actually see what the box looks like.
Candidly, not to even really try to figure.
Right there. This is a Safe Haven baby drop box. Do not open the door unless you are in need of. Oh God, I just got choked up, y'all. Please do not open the door unless you are in need of service. Silent alarm will activate. And then it gives you a Safe Haven crisis line.
Figure out why, but we want you to know you've got options.
For BigCountryHomepage.com, I'm Noah McKinney.
Thank you, Noah. Now all 50 states, including the District of Columbia and Puerto Rico, have a version of the Safe Haven law in place, and there are now more than 300 Safe Haven baby boxes in 20 states. The first baby box installed in Albany just a year ago, and there are now 5 other Safe Haven boxes in the state. In Abilene, 2 in the Lubbock area, Corsicana, Palestine, as well as Conroe. The only stipulation, again, is the infant must be younger than 60 days. Since 2017, nearly 60 infants have been surrendered in a baby box across the U.S. In addition, the National Safe Haven Crisis Line has helped with more than 150 surrenders in person. That's 1-866-99-BABY1.
Okay. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. These Safe Haven boxes, it's a beautiful thing. Okay, y'all. We're going to break that. It's been a rough stream. I'm going to end out. Sorry, guys. Y'all know my throat does this when I get choked up. It's part of just being Sheila. We're going to close out with this. I found this as good comic relief, and I think we need a palate cleanser after that. So I'm going to play it. Hopefully I won't get kicked for it, but I'm going to play it anyway. So here goes. Wait, I don't have sound. How do you make sound on this thing? I don't know how to do TikTok, so y'all going to have to bear with me.
Plug on its dial-up internet service.
Hang on, let me restart it.
AOL is finally pulling the plug on its dial-up internet service.
Oh, wait, what happened? Why did it do that? Y'all, when I go off the page, it took, yes, AOL. It's disconnecting. AOL, no more. Ready? Sorry. When I go off the screen, it takes it away. So I got to stay on the screen so I can't see chat.
On its dial-up internet service. Yes, dial-up still exists. Those iconic beeps, static sounds, and screeches were the way many people first accessed the internet in the 1990s, as the NewsHour reported back in 1997.
Getting online, that is, dialing into cyberspace, is as common as making a phone call for many Americans, and companies like AOL act much like the phone company, providing the connection into cyberspace.
By the early 2000s, high-speed lines quickly replaced telephone lines. By 2023, dial-up only made up about 1% of U.S. household internet subscriptions.
1%. 1%, guys. Dial-up, 1%. In 2023, there was 1% still using dial-up. That flabbergasted me when I see that. I'm like, who the hell is still using what? I mean, it's got to be a dinosaur computer to be able to hook up to dial-up. I'm gonna let this finish playing. I can't see chat because if I go off this screen, so I don't even know what y'all are saying, but this is nuts.
AOL says the service will officially be discontinued on September 30th.
September 30th, it will be discontinued. Hi guys, it's me. Anyways, I found that totally nuts that there's still 1% of life out there that's still using dial-up. I don't even have a home phone line. Yeah, yeah. If you look at Crystal Arsendoff, she was a friend of mine. Okay, I'm gonna look that one up. Yeah, the memories. Oh, just amazing. Just hearing that sound just like triggered some major memories. So anyways, with that, I want y'all to have a good night. My puppies are here sleeping on the cool concrete in my living room. Oh, wait, let me show one more thing before we go. We're gonna leave in just a minute, but I got one more thing. Look, y'all, I had problems with my AC this morning. For some reason, my AC, let me see. Here, I'm at its stage, y'all. Don't mind all the junk around it or anything. This morning, my AC took off on its own and started going up and down in temperature, just like on its own. Here, I'm going to play this video, y'all. I thought I was going crazy.
Not doing nothing. I keep turning this thing back up. I don't know what's going on. Why is this happening?
And then I have Hector over there. I have a ghost. I think I have a ghost, right? And then I had Hector over there hollering at me. Hector's over there hollering at me because this was right next to my bed. Hector's hollering at me. Quit messing with that. What are you doing? Quit making it beep. I'm like, I'm not doing nothing. We're sleeping. I have no clue why it just started. The remote to it's on the other side of the room. I don't know. It started going up and down. It was annoying. So I turned it off and went and turned on another window unit. So that's one of the things I dealt with this morning was dealing with these stupid window units. So that was fun. Anyways, I want y'all to have a blessed rest of your evening. Hit the thumbs up on your way out. Like the like the stream, all that fun stuff. I'm going to go spend time with my dogs. We were here less than 2 hours today, so that gives me a little extra time with them. So until tomorrow, y'all have a great rest of your night. Peace. Rubber out. Y'all have a great night.
Life's a ride on a rickety old track, holding on tight, never looking back.